I am here with Jason Sutton, the creator of The Count Chapter 1. My first question is, why? Why do you want to make a film based on The Count's origins?
It's something that I've always wanted to do. Like when we first made the Spooks, which was back in '97, it took us a whole year to film. I just wanted to do a Count film. The Count had been sort of like knocking around for a good maybe 20 years by then. So yeah, the character was already there, if you know what I mean. And I always wanted to make a film about him. So our little production company, such, we made a load of films, and I think the last one we made was the Spooks, which was about the Count, and it was just a Count story. I think it was a mixture of all the stories combined into one, but then it sort of like developed into something else. So I always wanted to do a Count origin story, and the sequel to the Spooks was meant to touch on that, meant to go back in time to the point where the characters in it, like a werewolf and all that stuff. But of course it never happened. I think because it took so long to film it, we wanted to take a break from it, and we never did anything about it. So it's something I always wanted to do. And of course, when Kobe said to me, "Why don't we make a Count something? Why don't we do a film or series on the Count?" I said, "Okay, what's it going to be? First of all, what kind of format?" He said, "A series." So I went and knocked up a whole load of drafted sort of like ideas for a 6-part, well, originally 5-part series. Then I developed it into a 6-part because it felt like it had finished too quick by the time episode 5 come around.
Second question, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So the second question, why Matthew Hopkins, this witch hunter general? Why
Matthew Hopkins? I can't quite remember how Matthew Hopkins comes into it, but Matthew Hopkins was a very strong character back in the 1600s, and he went around hunting witches and stuff like that. So I think it made it natural that Matthew Hopkins was around when the Count was around hunting witches. Originally, in the original Count stories, it was the Count that was playing Matthew Hopkins, but he was the one going around hunting witches, and the witches had their own back and cursed him and made him come back for one day every year. But I made him sort of like Matthew Hopkins' muscle as such, or his sidekick, to assist him in hunting them down. So we wanted Matthew Hopkins in it because basically he was around at that time, and that's really it, really.
Right, third question.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was your favourite scene to film?
That's a very good question. Favourite scene to film? I'm thinking about the whole film. Like, there's favourite scenes I like watching.
Well, just say that then.
I like the bit where the Count finally becomes the Count when he puts the mask on.
Right, good.
I like that scene, that whole thing leading up to it and after it.
Right, this was an interview with Jason Sutton. Switching Rue now. Well, I've known the Count for about all my life. The Count was made before I was born, really. But now, like, I used to read the comics that my dad made, and it made me think, I wonder what it would be in real life. Like it would be seeing the world through this vampire's eyes. It would be pretty cool. And so, obviously, once I got into filming and acting, I asked him whether or not he, would be interested, in making another film. Because I've seen the Spooks and it's alright. But now that we've got all this modern technology, we're only beginners as well. I thought we could try and, start it off again. But with the Count, and see how good it will be. And surprisingly enough, he said yes. Fortunately, we can get all the original casts back, but we solved that problem pretty fast.
What made you want to be part of the film?
Because it's fun.
Yeah. And did you enjoy playing Silas?
Yes.
And are you going to appear in Chapter 2?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so why the Spooks? How did we come about filming that? How did we come up with the idea? Well, I suppose really we started making films properly from say 1992 to about 1998, and the first one we made was Halloween, and we made a whole bunch of films, various types, horror, action, suspense type of films. A lot of them don't exist. And all the way along that, I always wanted to do a film about the Count, and I think I discussed this with Gary Sutton, who helped me make it, and we come up with a story. Why that particular story? I can't remember, to be honest with you. I think I just wanted a generic story really that featured all the current characters. So the current characters being like the werewolf or the wolf and the mummy and all them kind of characters. I wanted the more current characters at that time to feature, and it didn't really feature the Count's beginnings or anything like that. But in the background I always wanted to do a Count beginning, if you know what I mean, in the background. So the Count sequel, the Spook sequels was going to, the second one, they were going to go back in time and witness the beginning of the Count, how he become and what he become kind of thing. So that was going to be called, I think, Return to Canoodan, I think it was going to be called, but I can't quite remember. But I've been told by Gary that the script still exists, so there you go.
Oh wow, look, it's me again. I'm wearing Matthew Hopkins' beautiful shirt. This is the shirt I wore. So, did I have any ideas in Count Chapter 1? I had quite a few. I didn't originally want it to be a origin story. I wanted it to be a continuation of the Spooks, but Jason, took me round it. So, yeah, that happened. Oh, my cat's coming. Oh. No. And, did I want to be in the original, the film? No, I did not. I kept on saying to Jason I didn't want to be in the film because it wasn't meant to be, with me or anything, I didn't want to be in it in the first place. But once I found out that he put me into blimmin' Matthew Hopkins' role, I still thought, oh no, I don't want to be in it. And then when I read through the script, I was thinking, God, Matthew Hopkins. I know he's a witch hunter general and all that stuff, but he sounds pretty cool in the film. So I thought, yeah, sure, I'll go in there. And that's how it came to be.
Why Chapter 1? Well, it started off with a discussion with Kobe Sutton, the chief executive of Ranger Productions, and we discussed a TV series originally, and it was just going to be a sort of standard TV series, but I wanted to feature the beginnings because I always wanted to do a beginning, if you know what I mean, for the Count. I wanted to show that. It's been mentioned in comics, it's been mentioned at the beginning of the Spooks, how he began and everything like that. But I wanted to put it, I wanted to add the beginning in the 6-part series that was being written. It was just a draft at that point. And I suppose over the course of time, as time was ticking and we wanted to put this out, and production schedules and shoots, it worked out better, it would be a film. So with that, I really wanted to do a reboot as such, and a reboot of the Spooks in a way. But as I'm sort of like thinking about it, maybe it would have been better just to do a prequel as such. So I sold that idea to Ranger Productions, and they turned around and said, well, we did have something already in mind for a sequel to the Spooks. But in the end, it was granted, and we managed to do the beginning. So yeah, in a way, it's a new beginning, but it's not a new beginning. It's what happened before the Spooks kind of thing. So yeah, I always wanted to do a beginning. Always wanted to show the viewer, or make it for myself as well. I always wanted to show the beginning of the count, if you know what I mean. And I think a lot of other people wanted that to happen as well. So they knew how it begun, because it's not really been spoken about or done before. A bit like Batman in a way. He's appeared in a bunch of films, comics, but it never really did show the beginning in its true form until Batman Begins come along. And I suppose that's the kind of thing that we did with Chapter 1. Chapter 1 was just going to be a standalone film originally, I think. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, could be something else that we could do with it. And the story wasn't finished. And Ranger Productions, Kobe turned around and said, well, I think that's it really. We've really done with the Count Chapter 1, haven't we? So, you can't really go no further. And I said, well, yeah, you can actually. And then, so I told him the story. It wasn't just about Matthew Hopkins. And he said, right, cool, let's do Chapter 2. And then we're thinking about Chapter 3 as well.
Best scene to shoot, oh my god. So, there's so many good scenes, but I think one topped it for me personally. And it was where we got Sarah, our actress who played the witch, to chug down a potion. Now, we had a lot of things to speak about with that, because we didn't want to get her drunk. And the reason, you would think we just do the thing where we get, food colouring, mix it up. But ironically, for her birthday, she had these weird, I forgot what it is, like champagne bottles. But it wasn't really champagne, I don't think. It was just some kind of wine, I think. But it was in this weird potion thing, which I'm not sure if you saw in the film or not. But we was messing around saying that, you should drink all of it. We only wanted to have a sip it. We was messing around. And she said she didn't want to, chug it. So, we're not going to force her to do anything, are we? So, they was all messing around. And we just said, drink however much you want, because, it's a pretty hot day out. It was hot back then. And, the filming went on, and she picked up this bottle, and she just started chugging it down. You could hear it in the film, like that. And she wasn't even chugging it down. She was pretending to make the sound, but she chugged it down, totally. And you can tell by Jason's face, if you zoom up, and that was in the behind the scenes, you can see him just laughing, because it was quite funny. It's hard to keep a straight face when she was chugging down this drink, and then right after she goes, "Aah!" It's pretty funny.
Original story to Chapter 1 was, like I said, a 6-part series. And I think I originally wrote 5 parts for it. And it basically was a bunch of sort of ghost hunters walking around churchyard and bumping into the Count. And of course these ghost investigators, they had their own psychic medium who tapped into the spirit of the Count, that basically told the story of the beginning of how he become what he become. And it basically centred around these sort of ghost hunters really, and with the Count's origins interwoven into that. The sequel to Count Chapter 1. Chapter 2, I think it will come out just before Halloween next year. Filming starts in the new year. We start shooting. The script is already done. It's already in the bag. Everything's just waiting, ready to go really. Chapter 2, here we come. New year.